Pi Day, because the date 3.14 is the same as the mathematical constant pi, 3.14 repeated. The ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. Okay, enough math. Let's get to pi. We really care about the stuff you eat. We are joined by Kieran Hales. He's the owner and executive chef of Zingerman's Kornman Farms in Dexter. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Thank you for hanging out. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. It's a good thing.
I like the hat, I like the bow tie, and I like the fact that you brought food to feed us. Now, most people think pie, they think apple pie, cherry pie, not necessarily pot pie. Or is this technically pot pie or something else? That's
a great question. So it's really something else. So pie and mash is one of the old traditional foods of the UK. And so for us, it was the way that you would eat cheap food in London. It was one of those London traditional foods that still persists today. There's about 100 pie and mash shops left in London. And so when I lived there, this was one of the comfort foods I got when I was 13 years old as a kid. It's a pretty good place to be.
Wait, peas are comfort food for a 13-year-old kid?
Peas are comfort food. My mum used to make this burgundy beef pie, which has, I think, 8 or 9 different liquors in it, which was a pretty good thing.
Oh, now we're talking comfort food. Yeah, sure. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so we're going to make pie crust. So for our pie crust, we've got some strong gluten flour, we've got some butter, and then we've got beef suet. So this is grated beef fat. So one of the tricks of making a really great pastry dough is to crumble that all in until you get this really fine, mealy dough with some large fat in it. Once you've formed it together with ice water, if you can see this, you've got all these tiny little butters in there.
It's like marbled with suet.
Yeah, and so we were talking about pie and the circumference of a circle. We're actually going to use pie rings. And so one of the tricks of trying to get the dough in there nicely is to use a dowel. For us in England, we use wooden dowels to make pork pies. Nicely as far as Heinz malt vinegar bottles. They fit perfectly in here. So what we're going to do is actually take her up on itself, and then we force the dough around it, really nice and tight.
Around a malt liquor bottle.
Malt liquor bottle. And then you take the bottle right out.
Malt vinegar.
Malt vinegar liquor bottle. We can go to liquor.
Yeah, with some Colt 45, sure, why
There you
not?
go. So then we've got some of our beef burgundy pie, which is a mixture of about 36 different ingredients. And so we're going to top that up to the top. It's got fillet of beef in there. It's got mushrooms, carrots, onions, creme de cassis, brandy, sherry. Like I said, my mum was a good lady to keep me well fed when a comfort food goes. Then we would take the top.
A fillet of beef, is that the same as a fillet? Like
yeah, so it's the tenderloin that sits right down the middle of the animal, that muscle that rarely gets used. And so we're going to wet the top, and then we're going to do a little bit of crimping. And so once we've got the top on there, we're actually going to crimp the pie to the center. And so this is called a top crown pie for us. And as a top crown pie means that you've got the crest in the center. And so for the finished ones, when they actually come out, they take about 35 minutes to cook at about 375 degrees. Just want that nice hole in the center so it's got somewhere to breathe. And then for us, we're serving them with the traditional mashed potatoes, some minted peas, and then parsley liquor. Again, not alcoholic. So this is parsley, garlic. It's got chicken stock in there. And then we would serve malt vinegar and HP sauce in it, like you said.
What is HP sauce?
It's like the British version of your A1 steak sauce, just a lot thicker up, so a lot spicier in there for us.
But it's actually from Holland, right?
It is from Holland, is where it originated from as well. You gotta love us Brits. We were everywhere all the time. We've been invaded way too many times.
I wonder if it's more like 57 or A1, but we'll have to investigate that.
We could try that out.
Yeah, you got a knife and fork right here to your left-hand side. And I was also gonna give you guys a little sweet treat as well.
What's that?
So this is some of our Devon fudge. If you didn't want to go into the pie straight away, because out at the farm at in Dexter, we've got 4 different pies. We actually did the first 2, bacon and hominy and beef and onion. We're now doing chicken tikka and this burgundy beef pie. So it's every Sunday, the last Sunday of the month of March. Give it a whirl.
Right. Well, tell us about Kornman Farms.
Break her in, go dirty.
Oh, don't be delicate. Those peas.
Do you like peas? Tell us about Kornman Farms as we dig in.
Yeah, so Kornman Farms is a working farm out in Dexter. We're primarily an event space, but we do a lot of farm-to-table foods, comfort foods, nourishing foods like this. For me, this was like being able to go home when I was stuck in London, not back home in Devon. So it's got that rich flavors, really satisfying food, not a bad place to be.
Where can somebody get pies like this?
So this is going to be every Sunday. So the Sunday of March, the next 2 that are coming up, it's going to be at 5 o'clock till 7:30 out in Dexter. So it's about 50 minutes out of Ann Arbor, about 50 minutes from where we are right now.
Kornman Farms.
Kornman Farms, Zingerman's Kornman Farms.
It is so good, yeah.